I am saying this, and this won't make a whole lot of difference to you that are watching, but I felt like the Lord wanted me to go ahead and record this video. And so we're going to go ahead and do this. You will be watching it on Father's Day weekend. I'm recording it actually several weeks in advance, more than a month and a half in advance. And I always think to myself that Father's Day weekend was my first Sunday at the church in Boone, Iowa. And it will now have been 3 years ago since I came to the church here. And during Mother's Day, I just recorded kind of from the heart. I didn't really have any notes per se. I'm going to kind of do that same thing for Father's Day, except for I'm going to have some statistics. I've used these statistics before. If you have followed in what we do at all, you've probably heard me talk about them. In some ways, they're not good statistics, but I think that, and I am a father, and let me tell you, as a father, I made lots of mistakes. I am not in any manner, in any way, trying to lift myself up as an expert or an example of what you should do as a father. Not in any way. I just understand being a father. I jokingly say that about being a minister. I can say that about being a minister because I are one. And I do that same thing as a father. I are one. And so I know that there is such an attack on fathers. There is such if you just watch a few sitcoms, if you can stomach it. I can't stomach it. Honestly, I don't watch sitcoms at all. Not at all. I can't stomach them. What they consider to be funny is absolutely abominable. And they portray dads as these just horrible, just stupid people. And I'm going to tell you in a moment why I think that is. But let me tell you, and the facts play this out. We've been doing a lot of talking in the newsletters about facts. People don't want to really hear the facts. They want to hear what they believe about the facts. They want to hear what they think about the facts. They want somebody to feed them what they want about the facts. But facts don't change based on what I or you think. Facts are facts, no matter how you feel about them. Your feeling towards facts makes no difference in the issue. And that's where we've allowed a lot of confusion to happen in our society, is because we've believed that there was a saying, and they were using that significantly a few years ago, and I know that saying is still there. It just has been put in the undercurrent because they realized that good people had picked up on that saying and was using it to reveal what they were teaching. If you believe it to be true, it's true. So they said that us spraying aerosol cans was making a hole in the ozone that was eventually going to destroy all of us. It was a lie. But they said it so much that people began to believe it. I think it was P.T. Barnum that said, if you say a lie long enough and often enough, people will begin to believe that it's true. And that's the way people base their truth in this day and time. What they believe to be the truth is the truth. And you can share the facts with them, and they'll just disregard the facts and say, no, that's not what I believe. If that's who you are, quit watching our videos. That isn't said to you in a nasty kind of a way. It's said to you, you're just wasting your time. So if that's the way you feel, don't waste your time. Just quit watching the videos. Ephesians lays out some guidelines of how we should treat our families, the attitudes that we should have. Oh, I wish that we would obey them. It tells us how husbands should treat their wives. It tells us how wives should treat their husbands. It tells us that children should obey their parents. It lays out guidelines. And see, God made, and this is why this is so significant, God made the family the center structure of humankind. When the family is strong, societies thrive. When the family is weakened, societies crumble. The devil knows that. And so there's good reason why he does this. In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4, it gives instructions to us as fathers. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. The truth is, we are not losing children to the truth. And it has been said, this was quite some time ago, that it was said, if trends continue the way that they are, we will lose the entire generation to Jesus Christ. Why is things going on in the colleges that are going on right now in the colleges? Because we have lost the entire generation to Jesus Christ, and they don't even know who Jesus Christ is anymore. They just absolutely are saturated with the indoctrination and the propaganda and the stupidity that is being taught to them by the education system and by media. But hang in there a moment. But it isn't that we are losing them to the truth. There isn't any truth out there. It's a lack of relationship. And much of the lack of relationship, and again, you can dispute it, but the facts back it up. How you feel about the facts is insignificant. The facts back it up. But it is a lack of relationship, and the relationship is between we daddies and our children. The average dad spends less than 7 minutes a day in meaningful conversation with their children. I want you just to, again, I'm going to repeat it again. I want you to just stop and think about this fact. The average dad spends less than 7 minutes a day in meaningful conversation with children. Bring them up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. We have often said it, the church has a deck stacked against it. Children are indoctrinated and propagandized hours and hours and hours. They watch TV, they're on social media, they're on the internet. They're just, the indoctrination is insurmountable. And we at the church get them maybe a half hour a week, maybe. That is, if mom and dad consider it significant enough to send them. And then we're trying to overcome this insurmountable indoctrination with the half hour that we get with them. And the average dad spends less than 7 minutes a day in meaningful conversation. Dads, however many dads might be listening to this, watching this, this should send chills up and down our spines. Throw your cell phone away. Turn off your stupid computer. Take your little one out for ice cream and just spend time with them, finding out what they're thinking about, what's going on in their world. See, media isn't the problem, and school isn't the problem, and friends are not the problem. They are a symptom. I know some children, unfortunately it's getting more and more rare, but I know some children that are godly children. You know why they are godly children? Because every day, every morning, whether those children like it or not, and sometimes they don't like it, Daddy spends time with them in family devotions. You know, can I tell you, I've been honest with you in the reality that if you would have known me when I was younger, you wouldn't have wanted to be my friend. I wasn't a very good guy. And there was times that I knelt down at family altar with my face buried into the couch saying, this is the stupidest waste of time that I have ever spent. But I was raised up, whether I liked it or not, in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. Was my mommy and daddy perfect? No. But let me tell you something. I went to church every service. And back then, we didn't just have church on Sunday morning. We had church on Sunday night. We had church on Wednesday night. There was youth group that went on. And I remember when I came to the point in my life that I told my mom and dad, I'm tired of this. I'm sick of it. I'm not going to church anymore. Next Sunday, my rear end was in the church pew because that wasn't optional. Well, son, how do you feel about this? Do you want to go to church or would you rather go play baseball? The problem is not all of these other things. It's a symptom and not the cause. These things, the media and the school and the friends, will not cause rejection of the truth in and of themselves. But it is a lack of relationship. So I taught our kids, my own kids, I taught the kids in youth group and all those things. I want to make you think. I want to make you think. I want you to consider not just that you believe it because I told you so, but I want you to understand why you believe it. Because these things don't cause a rejection of the truth. Lack of relationship causes a rejection of the truth. And here's the facts to back that up. Children of single mothers are 30% more likely to go into drugs, alcohol, and violence. 30% more likely. It's rough on kids to be the children of single mothers. It's rough on single mothers to try to be mothers in that situation. 30% more likely to go into drugs, alcohol, and violence. But children of two-parent homes where relationship with dad is only fair to poor are 68% more likely to go into drugs, alcohol, and or violence. Over double. Society tells you the problem is single parent households, and that is a problem. I'm not belittling that. I deal with a number of single moms, and so maybe I have insight in that even as a man. I know that makes that tough, but it is double more likely when dad is there but has a fair to poor relationship with the children. In families where the relationship with the father is good to excellent, the child is 94% less likely to get in to these things. It's a profound statement to me. It really is. I'm sure that there may have been some that maybe I just didn't know about. But I worked in juvenile court for a year dealing with lots of troubled children. Lots of them. I cuffed and shackled more kids than what I would want to count and took them off to detention center. I don't remember a single child that I took off to detention center that had a strong daddy in their life. It may sound like that I'm going to brag, and I'm not going to brag. I just haven't been in the mood to brag at all. Some of those, especially baby girls, eventually got out of the system and quit causing trouble and got their lives straightened up because I got to fulfill a role in them as being a male role model of how they should live their lives, talking to them. I never hid it from the court officials, never hid it from them once. I broke the rules. Sometimes I would let those kids sit in the front seat with me. That was against the rules. And we would talk. We would talk more than 7 minutes a day. A lot of times the children aren't bad. They just aren't given any guidance. And when they are given guidance, and again, you can say, well, I don't agree with that. I don't care. The facts say that they are 94% less likely to go into drugs, alcohol, and or violence when the father's relationship is good to excellent. Again, can I say to you that my dad was perfect? No. But my dad went to my baseball games. My dad went to my basketball games. My dad went to the events that I was involved in, and he supported me in every way that he knew how to do that. I will never forget that. Let me say it to you. I turned my back on Christianity as hard as I could turn it, but I could never, ever, ever get away from the fact that I was raised in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. It affected me. And I praise God for it. Thank you, Daddy. And thank you, Mommy, that you showed me the right way even when I didn't want to hear it. Do you think maybe that knowing that the children become 94% less likely when they have a strong daddy in their life, do you think that maybe that is why the devil works so hard to make deadbeat dads? Do you think maybe that is the... Now again, I had lots of flaws, and I made lots of mistakes. But there's never been a time ever in the darkest places that I have been that my children did not hear from me that I loved them with everything inside of me. And they will continue to hear that. And I am very, very grateful again that my children call me on the phone on a regular basis. And I have made a rule with my daughter. My grandchildren have open access to me anytime for any reason. If I don't answer the phone, it happens sometimes. I'm in meetings. If I don't answer the phone, then I want my daughter to text message me and say, Dad, Gabe or Perpetual wants to talk to you. Because they have open access. I don't think that only goes with our own children. I have said that lovingly, not in a nasty way, but lovingly. I have said that to people in my churches through the years. Let me tell you something. If I am in the middle of a conversation and a little one comes up to me and wants to say something, your conversation with me is going to be put on hold because I'm going to talk to that little one, and then I'll get back to conversation with you. I'm not trying to be nasty, but I want those little ones to know. I want them to know. Fathers, don't provoke your children to wrath, but raise them up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. I don't mean that in a nasty way. I really don't. But this is not about your relationship with you and your spouse. If you have been divorced, if you have terrible feelings towards your spouse, you need to deal with that. That's a different message. But don't ever use your children in the middle of that battle as a weapon. Mommies and daddies, it's a fact. It's not conjecture, it is fact. When you have a strong relationship with that child, you build a wall of protection around them that Satan is going to have a very, very hard time of getting through. Statistically, only 6% of the time he actually gets through. Be a daddy. Be a strong daddy. Be a daddy that your children can respect. And you'll change the trajectory of the pathway that they are on. Thank you for listening.